Kaveh Ehsani is an assistant professor in international relations at DePaul University. His speciality, actually, the impact of oil on society and politics. Kaveh, thank you so much indeed for your time. For the benefit of the viewers, in the research that I've done, according to The Economist magazine, Algeria needs the price of crude to rise to $157 a barrel. Oman needs it to hit 87. I mean, Oman's not in OPEC, but you get the point, is that with prices at around 40 at the moment, they can't balance their books, these countries. So what do?
Well, this is a major dilemma, budgetary dilemma facing all of these countries. One important factor is that they can't all be put into the same category. I mean, in terms of demography, in terms of the diversity of the rest of their economies, they're quite different. Saudi Arabia is not similar to UAE or Oman or Iran or Algeria. I mean, so there are quite a lot of differences. Also, the obligations that these countries have taken on at this point, whether their social obligations, whether the national budgets are kind of geared more toward education, public health, infrastructure, or as in the case of Saudi Arabia, for example, a very costly and tragic war in Yemen, militarization, a very ambitious plan of modernization and kind of diversification from oil. These create very, very different budgetary demands and requests, and they should be kind of analyzed on their own terms. But in general, yes, the collapse of the oil prices and the future of the market is really affecting them all.
What about the societal impact? Again, I mean, as you say, you're quite right to say that you can't generalize too much between countries which spread right across North Africa through to the Middle East. But then the societal implications of countries like Algeria wanting to slash spending by half, the Iraqi government wanting to cut tax salaries, the Kuwaiti government having previously been giving handouts to Kuwaiti nationals, the sort of welfare system that existed in Saudi Arabia. What about the dynamic between civil society and the government as these countries realize that actually the oil revenue is not going to be what it was?
Yeah. Yes, this is going to be significant. I mean, basically for all economies that rely more or less on, at least like their public sector relies on, primary commodities, and, oil and gas are kind of significant examples in that. But, it also holds true for other things. By and large, I think all nations who kind of rely on a major part of their public budget on export of primary commodities will be facing this under, this dire economic global situation, and especially oil producers are facing this. Again, the question is, what is the pact? What is the social contract between the local government, given the historical context, and the wider society? I mean, in the case of Algeria, the expectations, the social expectations, and the way that the state has been kind of supporting the public sector is different, again, from what, Kuwait that you mentioned, or Saudi Arabia. So the more the range of social expectations in place already, and the more it's going to be disrupted, the more it's going to spill into some kind of a political reckoning for the establishment.
Sure, absolutely. And Kaveh, if you don't mind, if you could just keep this last answer brief. What about the implications for these countries' international influence and reach?
Well, I think we're in the middle of a major pandemic and global recession. It's rather unpredictable, but the idea that the world can move away from reliance on fossil fuels is a little bit too early. There is no replacement fuel. So, at some point, prices will pick up. And unfortunately, I think, these countries have come to realize that they really need to kind of diversify their economies and the sources of the public wealth. But I think, this in the short run, this will not be happening. I mean, I think there'll be relief that the oil prices will pick up once a vaccine is found. But in the long run, this is something that has to be addressed. Otherwise, it's going to lead to significant political turbulence.
Kaveh, thank you so much indeed. Kaveh Ehsani, another person in Chicago, so waking up
Pleasure.
early to be on the News Hour here on TRT World.